Okay, this is that 59 Gibson, maybe 60, I haven't really accurately dated it, 5960 Gibson GA-40 Les Paul model. And these three non-original pots were also the wrong tapers. This pot was bad, these two were just the wrong tapers. So I have replaced with 1 meg audio for the tone, because the circuit in this is pretty much the same thing you'd find in a Les Paul in terms of how the tone circuit works. This is a 500K linear taper for the tremolo depth, and 1 meg audio as opposed to reverse audio for this volume. So much better range of control here. These two originals, I have ordered brass sleeves, which will protect the split shafts from the set screw knobs. Those should arrive today or tomorrow, in which case I can button this up. The cathode bias was a 200 ohm, and with the wall voltage at 123, which is fairly typical for Memphis, right now it's at 125. It can go as high as 130 during the day in the winter, and drop down to like 110 or less in the summer when all the air conditioners are on. This thing was biasing at 14.5 watts with that 200 ohm, and these are 12 watt tubes. So I bumped it up to a 250K resistor, and now it is idling right now with the wall voltage at being a little bit high at 12.5 watts. So that's going to vary from about 11.5 to 12.5 watts, depending on what the wall voltage changes. And the heater voltages are within spec with that range of changes in the wall voltage. The speaker in here is an old P12Q, which is either original to the amp or is what would have been with the amp. It's been reconed already by my buddy Dave Halford at Halford Loudspeakers. It's who I use for all the reconings that I do, so I know that the speaker is great. It had the speaker leads, the leads from the transformer, the secondaries, were going to this jack, and then the speaker had a plug on it, and the owner didn't want to do that. He wanted just to have it wired directly to the speaker like it was originally. So that's easily done. The sad thing is whoever installed this had cut the leads short, so I had to splice some wires, have some cloth covered wires that are professionally spliced with heat shrink. You can't see them because they're tucked behind the transformer. So it's directly wired to the speaker now. And if you listen, with everything at 0, there's a hum. If I touch the chassis, it goes away to almost nothing. And this amp has a lot of gain, as you will soon hear. So I put some aluminum on the back of the rear panel, and when that's in place, the hum will be greatly reduced. That's just the self noise of the circuit. So we're going to take this off for now and let it be a little bit noisy, and let's see what this thing is sounding like. Let's start with the tremolo channel. When this thing is done, it'll get a real video with a mic'd up speaker and all that. Pardon my sniffles, the weather keeps changing. Now, it's always been funny to me that this is the Les Paul model when you absolutely cannot get any of the Les Paul sounds out of this. He had a very, very clean sound at all times. I can't play like Les Paul, very few can. But this amp does not work for that kind of very clean sound. Of course, he was always modifying everything with low impedance pickups and stuff. But even if you use the lower gain input jack, just with a volume volume at noon. And, so it's got a lot of gain. And the non-tremolo channel, which has a new old stock tube in it, all that noise is gone. So there's a pretty good range of sound available from the tone circuit, which is just a passive roll-off. So I find if you leave about 1 or 2 o'clock, you get just enough highs that you want, and then you roll back on the guitar. Anyway, when it's time, I'll do the real playing test of this, and maybe I'll get one of my local friends in to come do a real pro job. But I think I could probably rise to the occasion if necessary. It's a fun amp to play, and I think we're just the 2 brass inserts and putting the old knobs back, and then putting the rear panel on away from it being done. This was a relatively easy thing because someone else had already done the majority of the heavy lifting with the cap job, and they did a pretty good job. So I think the owner is going to be very happy with this for the next 20 years.